Hi, everyone. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to thank you all for coming. This is going to be our Sine report. We're going to do a summary of our 2025 legislative session. Let's jump in. Let's get started. My name is Katie. I'm a Legislative Affairs Associate. Just a few housekeeping things. This webinar is being recorded. And chat, it's not going to everyone. So when you send a message, only Aisha and I are seeing it. Aisha is on the call with me. She's our Community and Partnerships Associate, and she'll be helping sort of moderate as we move forward. So if you have any questions, there is the Q&A button down below. So you can submit your questions there, and we will get to them at the end of the webinar. And then also there are live captions available, like post captioning. There's a button down there at the bottom that says CC that you will be able to click if you need any closed captioning. Hold on, I'm sorry, a little pop-up got in the way, but we're fixing it now. Okay. All right, so let's jump in. Again, my name is Katie. I am WREN's Legislative Affairs Associate. I assist our Chief Strategy Officer, Ashley, with our policy initiatives. I'm a graduate of USC, Go Gamecocks, with a bachelor's in political science and a minor in environmental studies. I've been involved in state politics for roughly 7 years, and this job is my dream job, and I'm so excited to share with you guys what we did this session. So what we're going to go through and our objectives today. First, if anyone here is new to WREN, I'm just going to do a brief introduction to who we are. And then I'm going to talk about our current priority bills and where they're at. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about what's next, what you can look forward to from us this summer. All right, so first up, who is WREN? We are WREN. WREN stands for the Women's Rights and Empowerment Network. Our mission is four-pronged. We advocate, educate, research, and convene in community in service of women and girls for a more equitable South Carolina. So I'm not going to read this slide to you. I don't think that's very interesting, but advocate. So we are actively at the State House lobbying for legislation that will positively impact women and girls in this state and gender expansive people. Educate, things like this right now, right? Hosting webinars, sharing information packets, bill fact sheets, and resources. Research, right now we're in the middle of a big project trying to gather a bunch of research on our policy areas like childcare and maternal health. So again, we can distribute and share with the community. And then that final pillar is convene. So I mentioned earlier at the beginning of this call that our Community and Partnerships Associate, Aisha, is on the call with us, and she is going out in communities, hearing from you directly what issues you care about. She even has a period packing event tomorrow, if you're interested, 11 to 1 here at the WREN House. That's kind of what we do here at WREN. So these are our legislative priorities for the 2025 into 2026 legislative session. So there's two pillars: economic justice and reproductive freedom. And when I say economic justice, it means everyone should have a fair chance to earn money, have a job, and live a good life. And the areas that we're particularly interested in are childcare, paid family leave, and workplace non-discrimination. And then we have reproductive freedom. So that's that people have access to the full range of healthcare services they need. So in this field, we're thinking protecting access to abortion, protecting access to IVF, and then improving access to doula and lactation services. All right, so let's jump into our priority legislation. We had quite a few bills that we were working on this session. So before I jump into it, I always like to talk about, because I'm about to tell you where bills are, and if you're not super familiar with the process, that could potentially mean, I wouldn't say nothing to you, but might be a little bit confusing. So I just wanted to put here at a glance how a bill becomes a law. So you're gonna have your first introduction. That's gonna be in the originating body, so either the House or the Senate. Um, and then it's gonna go into committee, where there's sometimes a subcommittee hearing, sometimes there's not, but it could be get heard in the subcommittee, then you're heard in the committee. The committee will pass it out with a favorable report and give it it'll go to the floor for its second reading. The second reading, I always like to say, is like kind of the pageantry one, where like that's where you're going to see a lot of your long floor debates, if there is one. And then there's the third reading. I think of this as the speak now or forever hold your peace section of that portion of of this process. So once a bill has received intro, a committee report, then your second and third reading, it's transferred to the next chamber. So if it starts in the House, it gets its third reading, it's now going to go to the Senate, and then it's going to do that all over again. So in the Senate, then it's going to need a committee hearing, a second reading, and a third reading. So once it's received a third reading from both chambers, that's when you're going to have your ratification. Then it's going to go to the governor for signature, and then it becomes a law. So I'm going to go through each one of our bills and then tell you where they are in this process at the end of session, and what it could look like moving forward into next session with the bills. And again, if you have any questions, I'm trying not to go super fast, but I don't catch it sometimes. So please feel free to use that Q&A button, or ask us in our chat and we'll answer the best we can for you. All right, so let's look at our first bill. I'm going to start us off with a win. So Senate Bill 425 got all the way to signature by the governor and is now a law. So it provides free school meals for students living in poverty and eliminates debt shaming. And this picture here is me with Ashley, our Chief Strategy Officer, and Meg Stanley. She is the executive director of Holspire, which is a partner we worked very closely with on this legislation. They are an incredible organization. We are so happy to be a part of their mission. And so this bill was really interesting to me for a lot of reasons. But what really got me was, in every single conversation about this bill with legislators, the amount of them that were kind of surprised that children were not being allowed to have like graduation because they didn't pay for their school meal was an eye opener for sure. So sometimes they just don't know, and it's we're happy to tell them about impacts. Just an incredible bill. We're very happy. Across the finish line, there's no more work for it to be done with it. So I just want to share that with you, and we're very, very excited. So the next bill it falls under our economic justice childcare category. This is Senate Bill 47. It offers tax breaks to businesses for half the cost of starting or operating childcare programs, but then importantly, also it provides tax credits to childcare workers based on their training and experience. It's a tiered system based on, your training and experience. So this bill did receive a hearing in February. It was a long hearing. You see here we have Senator Tom Davis and all of our partners. I believe Ross Turner's there in the background with this really cute picture of the kids who made the sign that says, "We love our teachers." The hearing, we had compiled a bunch of letters from dozens of partners. We were joined by friends all across the state, United Way, Institute for Child Success, Children's Trust of South Carolina, First Steps, and then of course, childcare providers. The legislative seemed receptive. However, it did not receive a vote at this time. I believe we ran out of time. So WREN has been coordinating with both the House and Senate leadership and education committees to try to get this bill another hearing as soon as possible. So that's going to be one of our priority number ones moving into next session, is getting this bill heard so that we can get it a favorable report so we can keep it moving down the line. So as you see on our tracker here, it's in the committees section still. Our next bill is House Bill 3645. So this bill expands paid family leave for all full-time state workers. So just a little background when I say that. As some of you may know, state workers right now get 6 weeks of paid leave. However, due to the way that bill was drafted, it's currently excluding some grant funded positions. So House Bill 3645 fixes that, but it also doubles the parental leave to 12 weeks for primary caregivers and 4 weeks for secondary. So right now they get 6 and then 2, but now we want it to be 12 and 4. So this bill went through the House, and it got this picture here is Representative Beth Bernstein. We're very thankful for her. She's first the sponsor of this bill, but she also gave a really compelling floor speech for the third reading. And we're just so thankful for her advocacy and her work on this. So we were able to get it. It went through committee, got its second and its third reading. So now it's crossed over into the Senate. Received its first reading there and is now in committee. So when we start up again in January, we're going to be talking with Senate leadership, trying to move this bill forward. So next 2 bills I'm about to show you, that's Senate Bill 10 and 11. They are this bill split into 2. So Senate Bill 10 is just the weeks increase. And then Senate Bill 11 is just the grant employee fix. Senate Bill 10 hasn't moved from its committee, but remember House Bill, the House Bill has moved and is now in the Senate. So we're working on this just kind of concurrently, right? Now Senate Bill 11, this is just the fix. This is actually passed out of the Senate. So it got its first reading, second and then third, and then that last week it crossed over into the House. So we are putting pressure on this to also get committee hearings because we want this to go through however it's going to go through, right? This fix at least needs to happen. So that's where our paid family leave bills are sitting. And again, if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them through the Q&A and I'll answer at the end. With these, how a great help for us would be, even though it's summer and they're not in session, to use our action links to put pressure on the issues that you care about. We would love if you did it for all of our issues, obviously. But if you're like, man, I really want this paid family leave to go, it would be really helpful to us if you contacted your legislators and let them know, like, hey, this is a big priority for me, and I would love for you to prioritize family leave so we can keep moving these bills along through the process. But it's looking good for January for us to hit the ground running with both chambers with paid family leave. So the next set of bills focus on workplace non-discrimination. The first, there's nuance in what each one covers. So this one's discrimination in housing, employment, education, and public services based on race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, or pregnancy. This one hasn't had a hearing yet. We are in conversations about it. It just has not happened. The same is the case for 3341. So this one specifically includes traits like hair texture and culturally significant hairstyles, where the last bill did not. This one's also in committee. Again, we're in conversations about moving these forward. It just hasn't quite happened yet with things like tort reform and then the energy bills. So we're still pushing on it. Again, if you can take action on our action table and put some pressure on your legislator, that would be very helpful. The last bill I want to talk about here is the Crown Act, which is expanding protections on hair texture and styles, so such as braids, locks, and afros, in workplaces, housing, public spaces, and schools. So this bill is actually it's a national movement. I believe it originated in 2019 in California. CROWN stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. This bill was introduced by Senator Devine, I believe late March or early April. And we were very excited to be working with her with this. And we're really, like I said, a lot of things were happening there towards the end with stuff. They kind of had a lot on their plate. So we're gonna push this again into January and hit the ground running for sure. But I wanted to make sure I tell you it's here, and we're really excited to do some good work with her and our partners at the ACLU. So this is an intimidating slide. I acknowledged it when I was making it. So these three bills work to kind of all do the same thing. So it protects your right to assisted reproductive technologies. So IVFs, eggs or embryo freezing, donors, donor sperm or eggs and surrogacy. But the important thing that this does, it also clarifies that fertilized eggs or embryos outside the body are not legally considered unborn children. So fighting some of that fetal personhood language that can be so dangerous to these life-changing technologies, right? So these bills are all currently sitting in their originating committee. I believe we were waiting on some technical clarification, but we are currently holding on these for now, and then we'll start again when we get the information we need in January. Well, obviously, I say in January, we are doing research now through the summer, compiling information. I don't want to make it sound like we're just sitting here until January, because we are certainly not. The next one, this is improving access to doula and lactation services. So Senate Bill 42 would require Medicaid to cover lactation consulting, breastfeeding support, supplies, and full spectrum doula services through the first year postpartum. And this bill is in committee, but the House equivalent, which would also establish Medicaid coverage for doula services and require them to, let me clarify. So the last one has lactation in it. This one is just for doulas. So that the first bill is in committee still. This bill is also still in committee, but it did receive a hearing. It received one hearing. It was very well attended. Lots of doulas were there in support. We were there in support, our partners from the ACLU. We were all ready to, give our testimony. I had it all written out. I had it in the folder. I was ready to go. And we ran out of time. It was only an hour-long meeting. In that meeting, lawmakers said, hey, we really care about this. We just want to make sure we give it the time that it needs. And then also they had some questions for Prisma. So we would like to call them on that, right? If you're gonna say about 6 or 7 times in the hearing that this is really important to you, we'd like you to kind of put your money where your mouth is, right? So we have our action network set up to send messages to the committee on this bill. So if you could take action on that and be like, hey, you said you care about it, let's put some more pressure on it for them to pick up another hearing and actually have a vote. All right. And then next is ensuring access to contraception, our Senate Bill 477. So Senate Bill 477 is a technical fix to the Pharmacy Access Act. So the Pharmacy Access Act passed a couple of years ago, and the intention of it was that pharmacists could provide birth control without medical orders. And again, just an interpretation by the I believe LLR, you know, we just needed some clerical technical fixes. So the good news is this bill, it's gone all the way through the House. It's now in the Senate, locked in and ready to go for January. So we're hoping, because this is a technical fix, that it'll be over the finish line in no time. And we're going to keep working to ensure that for sure. Okay, so I switched over to, this is our current status of priority opposition legislation. So legislation that we aren't supporting. And the good news with this is that no bad bills moved. So all of these are sitting in committee right now. So let's jump into that a little more. So 3457. So this is a total abortion ban. It did receive a hearing early February. This picture here is the overflow room, and you're watching the committee on camera. So many people from all over the state came to this hearing, and I believe only 7 people spoke in you know, support of the bill. The rest was everyone in strong opposition. It was 3 hours worth of testimony. You know, this is my first year with WREN. I'm not unfamiliar with advocacy, but this is such a powerful, this was such a powerful day for me. I was very moved by everyone's advocacy and their bravery, you know, sharing their stories. And it's very necessary. So the bill did not receive a vote. Even stronger than that, later the majority leader put out a letter essentially saying, we have other priorities than this legislation, which is huge. So this bill is not only stalled, but you know, leadership has kind of said, let's look elsewhere. So huge. I'm very excited, and I'm very, very thankful for anyone who sent a message to their legislator, who came to testify. It is, you know, Ashley and I can be at the State House every single day, but you know, it's incredibly, it is nothing without the support of the community and you guys. So we absolutely are so thankful, and we're so glad this bill is where it is. The next one is the Senate bill version of this. This Senate bill is, I mean, all abortion bills are scary. This one's pretty scary. This is the one that's you know, it criminalizes, you know, discussing abortion. You can't refer people to outside of state. You'd have to show anti-abortion bill or videos in school. And then on top of being the Senate bill that's a great question. Richard Cash sponsored this bill. It has not received a hearing. It has not moved. But I don't want to say that as if it's not a threat. It does come up in conversations at the State House. So if you are able, please write to your senator and tell them, hey, this is not something we want. This is not, I mean, again, they're all abortion bans are not good bills, but this one, oh Nelly, let's keep that sitting in committee. The next one is a personhood bill. It's 3537. It would define a person as a fertilized egg at any age. And if you are accused of harming an embryo, you could be charged with homicide and subsequently possibly face the death penalty. So this bill is currently in committee, but I do want to mention on the very last day of session, the sponsor of this bill, Robert Harris, wrote a letter to the chairman of the Judiciary Committee and requested a hearing. And the House has a rule where when a chairman or when a sponsor writes a letter to the chairman requesting this, they have 7 working days to comply with the request. So what we're doing here at WREN is we're gonna, you know, check the working days as they come along in the summer. In the summer, they are few and far between. I believe we only have 1 day so far that they're coming in May for the budget. So that's one. And when things start up in January, we're going to count you know, how many days are left to be when that hearing will be. So be on the lookout for information from us about how you can get involved in, you know, essentially having an abortion hearing part two, right? You know, how you can talk to your legislator, how if you're interested in testifying, how we can support you. You know, and our comms team has a beautiful it's a like a storyteller initiative. So if you wanted to, you know, I can give information about that if you're interested in doing that. Just be on the lookout for information on how you know, the timing on when you can potentially help with this hearing. So that brings us to what's next and how you can help, right? So I want to let you know what we're doing. So throughout the summer, we're going to keep building relationships with lawmakers, but more importantly, we're going to be connecting with communities. Aisha is, you can't keep her out of community. She's so excited. We're going to be attending events. We're going to be connecting with you. Yeah, thank you, Aisha. Yes. Um, you know, keep your eye out. We'll promote events. If you see us at events, come and say hello. We want to hear what you care about, and your, you know, opinions on what we're doing and what you think, what you've noticed, you know, things like that. We're also going to keep hosting trainings, webinars, and workshops. So webinars like this, I'm going to use this moment also to promote that we're going to do a summer webinar series about our priority areas. Next month will be abortion. So we're gonna, you know, we're gonna have a partner from the Palmetto State Abortion Fund on with us, and we're gonna talk about sort of the state of it, and then talk about bills that are in play, and you know, just work on educating. Also, Aisha, again, she hosts trainings. Advocacy 101, I do legislative 101s. So we're going to be working hard on that. We're also going to be conducting research. I mentioned at the top, we're working on a large report to find what gaps are out there in research and how we can help. And I mentioned our Share Your Story initiatives. So we're going to be sharing stories. And we're also going to look at everything that worked this session, and things that didn't work, right? To figure out where we're going to go next for next session. And I feel like I forgot to mention, so for those who don't know, South Carolina has a 2-year session. So anything that didn't pass this session can be worked on next session. However, if it doesn't go over the finish line next year, it's dead. So that's why I kept saying like, oh, well, we can hit it back in Germany because Germany, hello, sorry, January. So that's what I meant about that. I'm sorry, I might have brushed over it. But yeah, so this is what we will be working on. And obviously we are always keeping women, girls, and families at the center of the conversation. I put when lawmakers return, but really when they're not in session either. And then there's a lot of work to be, so what can you do? So we would love if you joined these trainings and webinars. We also do letter writing workshops. You can do a training as an individual, you can do a training as a group, you can do a letter writing thing as an individual, you could do a letter writing workshop as a group. Whatever, you know, whatever works best for you, whatever you're interested in. If there's something that I'm not listing that you think it would be nice for us to do, please reach out. We love feedback. We'd love to know what you would like to see. You can also take actions by using our action center on the website. So I mentioned a few times throughout here, if you know, there's a specific bill that you're really interested in. Again, I really hope you're interested in all of our bills, and taking action on all of those. And then also we have a wonderful comms team that's making beautiful content all the time. And we would love if you know, shared our stuff on social media, Facebook, Instagram. I believe we're on Blue Sky and LinkedIn. So wherever you do social media, just sharing our messages and our initiatives. And then also share your story. Um, the that is so essential to this work, is your story, and we really appreciate any piece that you'd love to give. And then stay ready when the General Assembly comes back in January. Keep your eyes open, ready to fight. um, and yeah, I have room here now for any questions. I'm going to check my little Q&A box to see if anything popped up. No open questions on the Q&A. I'm going to hold for like 2 minutes if anyone has anything. Not 2 full minutes, but I'm going to wait a little bit, see. While I'm waiting on that, I just want to make sure I say thank you for everyone coming. Um, this has been like I said, it's my first session with WREN. Not my first session ever, but with WREN, and this has been such a learning experience, and um, I'm really excited about the work we've done. Is that yeah. So I've got a question. Should people try to make meetings with their legislators in the off session? Absolutely. If you are able, try to connect with your legislator. And we also, if you want to talk about a specific bill with your legislator, we do have fact sheets on our website that could help with that conversation. Yes, absolutely. Meet with your legislator in the off season. Their schedules are going to be a little different. I do recommend, if you're getting your contact information from the State House website in the off season, I would use, they put their like home and business numbers on that. I a little hack I used to do is in the off season I would contact them there, because the staff is limited in the summer and it might take longer for them to get in touch with you. So I assume if they put the information on the website, they're fine with me having it. So if you are looking for quicker results, I would say that. And you would, so I have another question. How do I find my legislator? You go to your State House website. Let me see if I can pull it up and share the screen for you. Oh, I see. Hold on. Are you still accepting volunteers for tomorrow's period party? If so, where is it being held? I believe so. Aisha, I believe you're on the call if you wanted to talk about a little bit about your period party.
Yes, I'm here. So we closed registration out last week officially on the 10th for volunteers for our packing party. However, I would have to reach out, of course, to our comms team and we can allow you to register. So if you are interested in still joining tomorrow for the packing party, I'm going to put the address of one of our members of our comms team who's managing that registration process for us so that you can reach out to her directly and she can get you plugged in. So I'm going to put that in the chat here in just a second. But thank you so much for asking. And we always appreciate the help of community in doing these things with us. So thank you. And I'll put that info in the chat for you.
Um, Thank you so much, Aisha. I have the South Carolina legislator site up here for you. If you would like to know who your legislator is, you're going to use this box right here. I'm going to put just a fake, or not a fake, that's Harriet Hancock Center. You put in your address here, and then when you click find your legislator, it's going to populate it like this. So I wish I could just think here. I'll just put mine in. Guys, don't come to my house, okay? And so see, it pulls up all of my legislators, my federal and Senate. So and state level. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for now. So everyone, I am again just so thankful again for your time and for being here with us. If I moved through that part with finding your legislator a little too quickly, please check us out on YouTube. We have a bunch of tutorials there. Also follow us on social media. Feel free to shoot me an email if you need anything. I'm happy to answer any questions. Well, I have a fun last name. It's um, K.Detilio at scwren.org. If you go to our website and go to our staff page, you can also just click to email me. I am again just so thankful for you guys and thankful for this work. And I'm going to give you guys the rest of your afternoon back. I hope you have a great weekend.